topic is discussing organizational culture, and seeing as 4 out of 5 of us work at Starbucks, I think today will be largely focused on Starbucks, or past experiences outside of Starbucks are welcome too. As start by discussing how we view our organizational culture and what our thoughts on it within where we work or where we worked in the past. Any thoughts? Is that a good start?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, you said, oh yeah, so you go first.
Let's see. So, my company culture is, in terms as my store goes, I would say that our manager, who is our leader, does have a very playful tone in the store. And, I think that shapes the company culture because at our store, we're very like lax with each other, and it's not, it doesn't feel like he's, breathing down our necks all the time. And he does a really good job as well as implementing those Starbucks values as well. So yeah.
Okay. Do you think that your your organizational culture lines up with the Starbucks values?
Yeah, I totally think so. Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, at my store, yeah, we're very relaxed too. I mean, as a manager, I don't breathe down anyone's neck because I don't want anyone to breathe down my neck. So we're very relaxed. I try to focus on being welcoming and warming to everybody. I mean, living in Daly City where I work, it's very like I have a very diverse customer base. I have like a lot of Asian, Hispanics, seniors, young people. So we try to be very welcoming, and I think that lines up pretty well with Starbucks' mission statement.
Did everyone get a chance to see the Zappos video on the company culture?
I have not had a chance.
No.
What did you think of it?
Definitely, I got a sense of the leader does implement the way that, company culture is executed in terms of, having a welcoming environment and making sure that everyone is having like a good time at work, as far as, bringing in that like work-life balance. That's what I, took away from it.
There were 3 things in the video that really kind of stood out to me. One thing he said was talking about how much they were employee first and not customer first. And that echoed a lot from a lot of the Southwest case studies and things that I read in my coursework here. So the idea that if you take care of your employees, that they're going to be inspired to take care of their customers because they're going to care. That's part of their mission. Another thing, Belinda, totally agree with what you said, what he was talking about with work-life balance and how really all you have is your one life. It's not work and life. It's this. So trying to make it all one thing and honoring people's lives inside of work and not forcing them to separate those 2 things was really cool. And just how wacky and fun that place seemed. I honestly don't think that I would fit there, but how much there I'm wacky and fun. I can be. I'm also old and set in my ways. But like I think how much their values guided their culture, and how it was like he said, as long as everybody knows what the values are, then the right stuff that we'll do the right stuff, and whatever happens. It seemed I'm not that lackadaisical. That's why I feel like I wouldn't fit there. So, but it was just so chill. Like we've got these values and everything's based on that, and whatever, we'll sell stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, no, you go ahead. I've already talked enough.
Just like what you're saying, especially Kim, is like you got to take care of your employees first, because if your employees aren't happy, then they're going to turn around and treat the customers like poo, and they're not going to be on their A game. You keep them happy by like either what's your organizational culture? Like at Starbucks, the organizational culture is partners first. I mean, we don't call each other employees, we're partners, because they don't think of us as just like another like replaceable cog in a machine, like that we have high value, or that's how I feel about ourselves. And I think when you treat your people happy, they're not just gonna like be treating your customers well. They're gonna be able to like do more for the company. Like if you ask them like to do something, they're not gonna just do it and like run about it. They're gonna be happy to do it because they want to make you happy as a leader and they want to make the company look good. So it's important to make your people happy, whether it's like work-life balance, whether it's having cool benefits like free school with a partnership with ASU. You know, there's so many things
Yeah, totally.
that go into that. I think another question or topic I wanted to start was about leaders shaping the organizational culture. Like, how do you guys think a leader starts that change? Is it like through policies? Is it through like interactions with people? Just like an open question. What do you guys think?
I think a lot of it has to go and deal with how they interact with the people that are in the organization. Because if you have a manager that is like, super outgoing, super friendly, a lot of times those personality traits just kind of rub off on the other people, that it kind of goes and just helps it be a happy atmosphere. Whereas when you have somebody who's really serious and very, point blank on like, this needs to get done, it needs to be done like this, da 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 da, it really goes and puts a dampener on how people are feeling while they're at work to even want to go and do their job and do it well and have fun while they're doing it, which is something you should be trying to strive for. I mean, you have to go and spend 40 hours a week there. You might as well like it.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
no one wants to moan and grudge when they think about work. They want to be able to think about work as like, oh, I'm happy to go into work today, or not have to worry about like what kind of stressful day am I going to have.
I think that the leader, the manager, is the ultimate driver within a unit. For me, the store I'm at is my fourth home store, and every one of those stores had a very, very different culture. And I'm actually on my third district manager, and the district managers even have shaped the culture. We've had a lot of upheaval in my district and in my, just area. And so seeing how each of those individual managers has shaped the culture has been very interesting, especially going through school studying this and watching each of those transitions, making those transitions. It's been enlightening. Some managers are much more democratic, and others keep a lot of things close to their chest as far as not delegating and choosing what they delegate and what they don't, how they share their authority with their supervisor team. Things like that have been drastically different from one manager to the next. How managers hold themselves above their partners or separate themselves from partners or not. Super different from one manager to the other. And it's been interesting to see how these different managers actually, they're doing that in their own interpretation of what Starbucks core culture is.
Mm-hmm. It's funny how, like you said, the separation, it's hard to like, I mean, for me as a manager, it's hard to find that balance of like I want to be friends with everyone because I'm a naturally like friendly person and I like to make people laugh, but I'm always thinking at the same time, like, I don't want to be too like, oh, we're just buddies. It's okay if I'm late. It's okay if I call out to work sick today because Jordan's my buddy. So it's hard as a leader. I mean,
yeah, you have to keep that level of professionalism there as well.
Yeah, I know exactly what you guys are talking about. A friend of mine opened up her own grooming salon, and she's like hires in these girls, and she goes and sits there and becomes friends with them. And so the line between the boss and the employee start blurring. And then I'll go and I'll listen to her talk, and she'll say how, oh, I'm having these issues, or coming in late. They're mad because I came in at this time, even though I own the business, and all these other things. And I'm like, that's because you allowed it to get that way. You have to put that barrier. While we're at work, I'm your boss. When we're out of here, we can be friends, but not while we're here.
Yeah.
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 What about you, Daphne? What do you think about all this?
I guess I kind of have the same situation going on as Kimberly did. I've been in the same store since I started, but that store has had a lot of transition. And I've gone from having like a really great manager to not so great managers. And the manager I have right now is she takes on the motherly role, where she wants to take care of everyone, and that kind of makes it very stressful because you want to please her, but then at the same time, it's like, well, you're my manager, that's all you are. And so I see that she tries to maintain, the manager role, but at the same time, because she takes on this very strong motherly figure, it's hard for anyone to respect. Well, everyone respects her, but it's hard for them to take her seriously. And, a lot of times she thinks that it's partners, and sometimes it is partners. But she wonders why, she's not being as effective, and it's because of the way that she presents herself to them.
Sounds like she has trouble finding the motherly.
Yeah.
And from what I'm hearing, it sounds like she'll lean one way to be super motherly and bond with the partners, but at the same time, she'll be I'm the manager though.
Yeah.
She can't lean on too far on one side of the spectrum. You got to find the right path.
It's a tricky balance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very tricky. I had one organization I managed for where we had to actually sign anti-fraternization papers that were so specific. If we were in a sports league, a community sports league that played against one of our employees, we had to sit out that game. It specified that.
Wow.
Because they didn't want any questioning as far as impropriety or anything like that. If you saw them in a restaurant, you were allowed to say hi. You were not allowed to sit at their table. They were not allowed to sit at your table and join you. They really dictated very closely how we interacted outside of work. And I know managers who did not adhere to those. And I myself, I'm a rule follower. I follow those rules to a T. I think some of the people in my organization thought that was weird, but I'm they're there for a purpose. Yeah. Really, they're kind of there to protect the manager.
That sounds like an interesting organizational culture. In my position as a store manager, I don't hang out with my partners outside of the store because I don't want to be in that where it's the blurred lines either. But we do have things where it's oh, we're gonna go all bowling tonight once a year. So then we do bond and we do have.
Yeah.
Or if I see them outside of the store, I'm not gonna be can't talk to you. We're not on the clock.
Yeah, totally.
That's an interesting organizational culture that they had specific to the sports thing. That's so specific and that's so dictated. Interesting.
I think something must have happened, you know what I mean? And they thought, okay, in order to prevent this thing from happening again, then it probably resulted in some sort of lawsuit. They said, we're going to make everybody sign this, that somebody acted not right, bought somebody shots at a bar, whatever, and something terrible happened as a result, and now you can't have drinks with people from work. You can't, I don't know.
One person ruined it for the rest. In our last few minutes, there's if anyone, I don't know if anyone has the textbook open, but I'm on page 253 and I'm looking at some symbols and symbolic creations that go towards organizational culture. And I thought some of the things that were interesting to me is I didn't think about this when it comes to organizational culture. It's language, going back to when I said we call each other partners, that's part of our culture. We're not employees. Or another one is the dress, for at least for Starbucks, the dress and physical appearance. It's changed so much in the last year. We can have tattoos, colorful hair. I don't know what kind of dress code you have at your job, Nicole. Are they pretty strict?
No, because where I work is like I said, it's a contractor company for a larger organization. So we're a small company. There's only 5 of us. And so for the most part, I come into work with jeans and a t-shirt because I do get dirty sometimes depending on what I'm doing. And I have to be prepared to be able to go and wear a hard hat and steel toes to go out in the mine. But past that, I mean, it's very lax.
Right. That's good.
Do you guys have any like rituals? I mean, for us, I would say a ritual we used to have was the coffee master, but I think that stopped. So I don't know what our new ritual will be, but like for us, a coffee master was like you go through a process of like learning about the origins of coffee, like different combinations of coffee that work well, so you can like suggest them for customers. And for a long time, that was like a rite of passage. Like if you're a coffee master, like you're proud of it, you get a special apron, and you're like the go-to for coffee knowledge in the store. Do you guys have anything like that in your?
Another ritual would be like the coffee tasting. I remember when I was first hired on, we would like do coffee tastings. Now, though, at my store at least, when new hires come on, we don't do that anymore. I don't know if you guys do it at your store, but I know I was actually like, taught about like, the different coffee and whatnot, but now it's like new partners come in and they don't know like what's the name of another, blonde or whatever, which is pretty essential if you're working at a coffee shop, I think.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. That's weird. I haven't done a coffee tasting with like my district manager in a while, nor like any like senior management. Like every time they come in my store in the past, I would have to have like a coffee tasting, a story, a pairing.
Yeah.
Last year, like no one's asked me like, do you want to have a coffee tasting? Like no one's pushing that on us.
Yeah.
That's weird how our organizational culture, at least maybe it's in California partners, it's changed for us.
We still do them a lot.
You do?
In Ohio.
We have 1 minute left on our 18 minutes. Any other final thoughts about organizational culture, leadership, forming that culture? We're all good.
I think we're good.
Okay. That's it for this week.
Do we want to stop and maybe talk about the project that's due on the 6th?
Yeah.
Yes. Should we? Can you go offline without hanging up? I'm still learning.
To stop the broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good.